Welcome, ACTIVZ. It's another installment of Meet Your Advisory Board Member. Today we're joined by Richard Jones, who's not only a longtime friend of mine, but a longtime friend of ACTIVZ and many of us on the ACTIVZ team. So I want to welcome you, Richard, to the call. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, David. It's great to be with you.
Well, let's jump right into it. Richard, I know everyone is excited to hear more from you. Some of them got a little taste of you at the Salt Lake ribbon cutting event for the US market, but I'm sure they'd like to know more about your background and what you've done professionally, what you're currently doing, and then maybe explain a little bit about how you got involved with ACTIVZ.
Sure. So I'm currently the Vice President General Manager of Nexstar Broadcasting in Salt Lake City, and I operate ABC4 television, CW30 television, and MeTV television. I also am in charge of all of our digital operations as well, our social media and marketing. So we have about 200 employees here at this location, and we also are a hub that does administrative work for approximately 20 other markets in a regional area to us. The owners of the company, Nexstar Broadcasting and Nexstar Media Group, felt that my pitch that this would be a perfect place in Utah, located in the Mountain Time Zone, easily accessible to the Midwest, the West, and Central time zones, with a really good group of potential staff employees. It's been a really wonderful experience. I've been here for a little over, 6.5 years. And I got involved with ACTIVZ really because of you, David.
You've been in the media business, the news business for a long time. And one of the things that
I left college.
Since you left college. So you've been with a lot of different, well, I don't know a lot, but several large stations that you've either run or had responsible positions for basically from the beginning. And you've probably seen a lot of changes in the media world during that time. And one of the things that everyone hears about these days is so-called fake news. And I know that your station, as well as others, have done pieces on ACTIVZ and our products. And I know that you don't believe in broadcasting fake news. So what is it about our products and the company itself that you found to be newsworthy and something that you felt is be worthy of talking to other people about and broadcasting?
Well, in all honesty, I was so impressed with ACTIVZ and the products that they have and the way that they've been scientifically engineered that I thought that many of the different products and the things that you and the ACTIVZ team are working on would be newsworthy for the people living in Utah. We cover the entire state of Utah, western Nevada, southern Idaho, and eastern Wyoming. And so with that big a geographic area and with people having an outdoor lifestyle and doing all different types of works and opportunity, I thought the work that is being done by ACTIVZ to develop products that really work on people's immune system and with counter-inflammatory potential disease and other types of inflammatory issues that are really the source of really all the problems that we face on a day-to-day basis with our health would be very beneficial to the viewers. So I talked to our news director and to our health and wellness reporter, and I didn't tell them to do the story. I said, we have this great company here in Utah that is doing some amazing work on fantastic products. I'd like you to investigate it and see if you would think it would be worth telling the people of Utah about it. So we have done multiple stories about ACTIVZ as a company and some of the ACTIVZ products, like Lynx and Optimend. And so I've been very impressed, and as was our reporter who does these types of stories. That is her beat. She does them every single day, and she was very impressed with what she learned and actually used the product herself.
Well, we were really gratified that both your station generally and you and and the reporter would show that type of interest. But I know that you personally have experience with our products, and maybe you can kind of share what your own personal experience has been with Link and or OptiMed.
Sure. So when you first introduced me to Link, I had just been diagnosed. I'd gone to the emergency room because I had this horrible pain and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And they diagnosed me as having diverticulitis. And they gave me some antibiotic and then said, you're going to be on this for several weeks and we want you to change your eating routine, blah, blah, blah. And you said, well, wait a minute, Richard, I have this product called Link. I want you to start taking it immediately. So I started taking it morning and night. I did that within 3 days. I was fine. I didn't change any of my eating habits. And that was, what, David, almost a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I've never had one problem since then. Interestingly enough, the week before, one of my employees, his wife had been diagnosed with diverticulitis. I tried to get her to take Link. She never has. She's been in and out of the hospital 5 times in a year. And has changed her eating habits, and it still doesn't help her. So I'm a big believer in Link. And then because of, I played football throughout college, and then I was very active into my mid-40s and playing in some pretty tough physical sports in different leagues all the way for many years. And I have had many surgeries on all of my shoulders, my knees, my legs, my face, as you can tell, and all these other things. And so I have quite a bit of arthritic conditions and bursitis and other issues. And when OptiMed was first called Product X and nobody knew what it was, you were nice enough to give me that product, and I started feeling better right away. And just for ACTIVZ, I did this as a sacrifice, as my role as being on the board. I actually did a little experiment where I went off of everything. I went off of Link, I went off of OptiMed, and the product that we sell in Mexico, which you've been nice enough to let me take even though it's contraband. And I stopped all 3 of those products for a 4-week period. And I reached a point, as I told you, I thought I'll give this 1 month to not do it. And within a week, I started having pain everywhere, my hips and my joints all over, to the point that it was keeping me up at night. I was in agony. My wife and I were taking one of our grandsons to Boston and to New York to go to Fenway and Yankee Stadium and walk all over the cities. I told my wife, that's it. It's been long enough. I'm going back on the product. So I went back on a Wednesday. We left on a Thursday morning. I had a horrifying airplane flight Thursday, Friday. I was in agony. I could barely get up steps as we walked places. My wife was really concerned for me. By Sunday, the product had kicked in all the way, and I started feeling better. And I was fine Monday, Tuesday. We walked all over New York. I felt great. And now that I've got it all back in my system, all the pain that I suffered by being off the product has dissipated, and I feel great, which means I'm a living, and I did this on purpose because I know I have a lot of inflammatory issues due to a lot of the many physical injuries that I've suffered throughout my lifetime and through all the physical stress that I put myself to. And I really, as a good board member, wanted to be able to speak honestly about the 3 products that I take, and I can do so with great veracity and tell you that I know that they work tremendous, at least for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but I can tell you as a man above 60 who has to deal with some of this stuff, I can now, once again, walk for several miles and exercise and do things without feeling very, very small, as little discomforture. And I feel dang good throughout the day because I take the product every day. I take Optimen morning and night, and I take Link every night, and I take the other aforementioned product from Mexico every evening.
It's Genomics. You can say it.
Genomics. All right. I didn't know if I could officially do that, but I do take Genomics every evening as well.
Well, that's great. You know, we hear a lot of testimonials. I think that might be the first reverse testimonial that we've had in the company so far.
And I did it on purpose.
That's great.
Because I figured, my wife asked me, why are you doing this? She was literally concerned for my, she was very concerned about me because I was having so many problems, including, it was amazing, reflected pain from my hip into my groin to the point where I was limping, and my grandson was so worried about me. And then after it got back into my system, it all went away.
Well, I do remember you calling me and saying, David, I need some more of the magic pills. And
yeah.
from a regulatory and marketing standpoint, we really don't call them magic pills. We don't mind it, and everybody else does, because we do think there's a form of magic in these.
Yeah, well, I think they really are. And, you know, I can testify that this isn't a placebo. This isn't imagined. And that's actually why I wanted to do this. I literally went completely cold turkey, and I suffered terribly when I went off them. So it kind of scared me to be, now I'm really addicted to them because I've got to keep taking them.
That's great. You know, it's interesting because we got together because of friendship, as well as, you know, I not only respect you and as a friend, but also from a professional standpoint, you've attained great heights, and you have a wide sphere of influence, like many of your fellow board members. And maybe you can speak, because you've been on other boards, maybe you can speak a little bit to what you think about the caliber and stature of your fellow advisory board members.
Well, thank you, David. I am, you know, look, I know an awful lot about marketing and branding and advertising and social media and digital and all of these things, and I feel very comfortable in that sphere, and even served as advisor to various companies, and have purchased media for television stations for other companies. But the caliber of the people on this board of advisors are really awe-inspiring, to be honest with you. I've had the opportunity to interact with them, and their expertise and the quality of them as people is just outstanding. I'm so humbled to actually, I feel like the weak link of our board. It is such a pleasure and so inspiring to be around them and spend time with them. I've actually, with several of them, after I've got to know them better, have had quite a bit of personal interaction, and it's so impressive to me to see what they've accomplished. I hold them in such high regard, many of them for their medical and scientific acumen and their intelligence and intellect and all they've accomplished. I think ACTIVZ has some amazing people. We have the gentleman who just retired from ACTIVZ military, who amazing accomplishments in the things that he's done. You know, we have one of the foremost neurosurgeons in the history of the world, who has done amazing work. We have other doctors and other people who have just done tremendous work. That I've served on several boards, many different advisory groups. This is some of the finest people I've ever had the pleasure of being able to associate with.
I call it an embarrassment of riches. Because
I say that's a great term.
Yeah, I've not ever been blessed with such a strong group. And even though I also have my own testimonial about a product like you do, and in fact, all the advisory board members do also. But like them, just because someone had a personal experience, I might not think that that's going to work for me in the absence of science. If I've got the science and the testimonial, then I'm much more prone to believe that that product really will deliver. And one thing the scientists on our advisory board, in fact, all of them have said to me, is that, David, you know, you're a great guy. We love your team. We love your mission. But frankly, it's the science that has really attracted us to your company, because this science is incredible and these products need to be in the hands of people for the various ailments that they have. And you, in case you have any doubt, you are equal in stature to any of them, and you have brought a lot of great benefits to the company, and will moving forward, because we need at every level of the company strong voices. We need weak voices, to whatever capacity somebody has, to talk about ACTIVZ and the benefit we can have in other people's lives.
Well, I think that's true, and I feel so strongly. You know, I deal, unfortunately, in a business that I get to see a lot of horrible things on a daily basis. And you talk about fake news, but here's some real news. We have a really horrific opioid problem in this country. And it didn't start because everybody in the United States was suddenly a pothead and taking cocaine and things like that. It started really because of prescription drugs, as people tried to deal with pain and would deal with the very things that I'm talking about. And I've had doctors say to me, well, should I give you a prescription for these things, for the arthritis, the things that you're feeling? And I've never wanted to go. The most I've ever taken is an Advil. And so I think what a wonderful opportunity in a world that is so full of people who are addicted to all these devastating drugs that have a deleterious effect on your kidneys, on your liver, on your brain, that can give you early onset senility and Alzheimer's, that can, all of these drugs have deleterious side effects from long-term and built-up use. It's just the opposite of the ACTIVZ product. As the active product is in your system, you actually feel better and you have better long-term viability. Where when we go to these other drugs, you know, you have the danger of having actual physical body harm in order to try to feel better, and then having the severe consequences of long-term addiction. You know, one of my employees, I just had a heartbreaking thing happen. One of my employees, who I dearly love, is getting divorced because their spouse is now addicted to various substances, and it all started through opioid addiction. It's a serious problem that we face, and it starts very, very young, and it doesn't matter what your income level is or what your background is. It's endemic, and then from there, people end up going to drugs like heroin because it's cheaper for them to get heroin and easier than it is to get opioids. What a great blessing to be part of a company and associated with these great scientists and doctors who have given us these nutraceuticals, which are not counterindicative to any of the drugs that we might need to take for, you know, cholesterol or something else. And in many cases, you can use these and be completely drug-free.
Well, and that's actually, you use the word opportunity, something that I want to touch on as well, just in closing. Because unlike drugs that mask and numb and try to hide a problem, the whole word ACTIVZ is about activating our genes and activating the body's potential to heal and really retain its youthful vigor and everything it's designed to do. And the opportunity comes, of course, is in that you can share these things with other people. And there's so many people that are in pain, whether that be physical pain, emotional pain, financial pain, and you can help activate them and create a business, an outside gig for yourself. You can replace your income, and that's the other product that we offer. And as a businessman, maybe you can speak to that opportunity and how you think it might fare for people who are looking to change their circumstances.
Well, I'd be glad to. You know, since you've known me for such a long time, one of the ways I paid for along with being on a full scholarship, which I figured out once was worth about $1.65 an hour, I in the summers, to supplement that scholarship, I started selling books door to door as a fully commissioned, if you don't sell it, you don't get paid salesman. And I did exceptionally well in the summers that I worked and was able to make enough money to buy a car cash and have enough money to go on dates during the year and doing all these other things. And then when I got into the television business, my first real paying job after I got through with my entry level was to become a salesperson, a commissioned salesperson, and make money based upon how well I did in selling my television products. I think that there's one thing that I remember some very wise men told me when I was a very young man. If you really, really want to have financial security, then learn how to sell well. And if you do that, you'll never have to worry about where your next dollar will come from. And I think the great thing, look, what a fantastic opportunity with ACTIVZ. Here we are with a company that is providing products that people need and want to have, that give them an alternative to deleterious drug use, okay? And I'm not talking about bad drugs, I'm talking about prescribed drugs, that give the opportunity for people to sell a product and many products that make a difference in people's lives. Frankly, the skincare products were amazing to me to see before and after on people. And what a great opportunity what an easy way to sell it. What a great way you can involve your friends. You build up your own community. You build up your own strata and your levels of people with people that you want to work with and associate with. And you're all doing it with fantastic products that that are making a difference, that you never have to be ashamed of, that you can always be proud of, that will make a positive difference in people's lives. I think that's fantastic.
Well, I think that is very well said. I don't think that we could add anything better than what you just said in terms of that endorsement of ACTIVZ, its products, and the opportunity. And Richard, I want to thank you for your time today. We're very grateful to have you a member of the ACTIVZ family and look forward to seeing you on one of these videos again soon. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Evan. Thanks for having me.